Hey Bridge family, thanks for tuning in for a few moments as give a few updates on where we're headed as a church and what's going on. I know a lot of questions are up in the air and wanted to just speak briefly to some of those things as we've been navigating the waters of reopening. Firstly, I just want to address what may be on your mind a little bit is local church conference. Some of you know nothing about that, but others of you know that this is our annual celebration and opportunity to look ahead. At each local church conference, we will spend time reflecting on the past year. What are some of the wins? What are some of the testimonies? What's been done? How can we celebrate what God has done in us and through the church as the bridge? But also, we begin to look forward to what's ahead, charting a path for where we feel God is leading us. And in the midst of that, too, doing some elections of leaders and all of that is wrapped up into the local church conference. So normally that would have been May 17th, but as you may have guessed, we're not doing that in person. And we're still actually a little bit of up in the air. We're trying to toy around possibly with some different options on what that might look like. Could be that we present everything online. It could be that maybe if we wait a few weeks, there might be some opportunity to share that in some in-person space. But we're looking at some different options there. Just know that we are working behind the scenes. Nothing's being neglected at this point on all the important matters of the life of the church. And we'll keep you posted on what that will look like moving forward. If you have any questions on those, please don't hesitate to ask. But it comes in the midst of a larger question of what is church going to look like over these next 4 to 8 weeks and beyond. Obviously, you've probably heard churches and gatherings in general are further back in this whole phases of at least the New York State. And we kind of ask the questions, what does it look like for us to meet in person? We all have gotten it by this point. Phone calls and Zoom calls are just not enough, right? Who would have thunk? But that's the reality that we're facing, and we're trying to navigate with sensitivity how we both walk in discernment and honor of our local officials. And really, ultimately, the bigger picture is what is pleasing to God, what is pleasing to Him, how can we be faithful to Him first and foremost, and whether that matches up with some of the expectations that our culture and our leaders will place on us. Many times they do, but sometimes they might not. So we're trying to figure some of those things out prayerfully. How can you help us in this? Well, one, we covet your prayers as a leadership team as we try to lean in and listen to what God's doing. And secondly, we've created a short survey, very brief, will probably take you all of 5 minutes. And we really would love 100% participation from every single one of you who's a part of the bridge. Whether that means you're a regular attender or whether you're a member, if this is your home, church home, we want you to respond. Okay, we want you to hear your voice. We want to catch how are you dealing with this? How are you working through this? How do you think we should as a church move through this? All right, so we've attached that link to this video and want to really encourage you to do that no later than Sunday if possible. So that gives about 3 days. If you're catching this Sunday, get on it. Seriously, take 5 minutes. Won't be long. We'll appreciate your feedback and all of this. And I'll just tell you this, one of the hearts behind all of this is trying to make sure that we're being faithful with what we know to be faithful with and moving forward, being faithful in each season, no matter what that looks like. That's our intention. We believe that that's a biblical principle, that when we're faithful with the little, God will enable us to be faithful with the much. Okay? Thanks for your prayers in that. Thanks for your time, and God bless you and your family this weekend.